You can skip ahead to the specs if that's what you're here for, but I invite you to stay for the story. Because for me, this isn't just another watch review, this is about a watch that's become a forever piece in my collection. I've actually known about VAER watches for a while now. As a popular micro brand, their reputation is well established in the watch community. They have clean, purposeful designs, robust build quality, and the kind of American assembled spirit that draws a loyal following. But until recently, I'd never had the pleasure of seeing one in the metal. It was always out there scrolling through Instagram or browsing on YouTube, but never in front of me. Now that changed when VAER reached out and they asked if I'd like to review one of their pieces, and I went down the rabbit hole on their website. Models for field watches, divers, and chronographs all looked solid, but then I saw it. The R1 Racing Chronograph in 38mm with the orange dial, and instantly I knew that was the one. This color isn't just bold, it's deeply personal. Since 2008, my family and I have been taking our 2008 Dodge Challenger SRT8 to various car shows. The very first limited edition run when Dodge revived the Challenger. Ours is number 3282 out of 6,400 made that year. Over the years, my parents, my nephew, and I have stood next to that car at countless events, telling stories, swapping laughs, and sharing something that became bigger than just the car itself. The Challenger was always meant to stay in the family, passed from my parents to me and eventually to my nephew. And with that kind of tradition, it's never just about an object, it's about what it represents, the bond, the stories, the sense of belonging together. That's exactly what watches are to me as well. They carry not only our time, but our stories. And when I saw this Hemi orange colored dial, retro racing design, and VAER's American assembly, it felt like the perfect pairing. This isn't just a watch for today, this is a watch for every car show, every early morning cruise, and one day, it's the watch that I'll pass down along with the keys to the Challenger itself. Like the Challenger, the R1 Racing Chronograph borrows from retro roots, but upgrades them for modern life. It's not a delicate piece you tuck away, it's meant to be worn and lived in. Just like my favorite muscle car, it's bold, but actually practical. American assembled, ready for the road, and built with finishing that's genuinely impressive at this level. Recently, I took 2 separate cruises in the Challenger. One with my nephew where we talked cars, watches, and the things that keep us inspired. Looking over, I could already see the future. Him behind the wheel one day, with me in the passenger seat, simply riding along. The other cruise was with my dad. That one was different. It brought back years of memories. My mom usually tucked into the back seat, the car loaded with stories, laughter, and destinations ahead. Sharing the road again with my dad reminded me how much those moments had shaped me. Together, those trips highlighted exactly what makes both this car and this watch special. They aren't just possessions, they're bridges between past, present, and future. They're reminders of time well spent and time still to come. Now, by the time you see this video, the orange dial may already be sold out. I had asked VAER if they would let me keep this one, and they were gracious to allow me to do so. But they also sent me the cream dial version on loan, which gives you another look at the R1 lineup in a different flavor that is available to purchase. So let's take a closer look at the details, because the more time you spend with this watch, the more it gives back. The watch comes in at 38mm in diameter, 46mm lug to lug height, and it's 12.6mm thick. The case shape is a blend between a cushion and tonneau shape with a dial size of just over 30mm, making it wear actually a bit smaller than you would think. I feel like most wrist sizes between 6 inches all the way up to 7.5 inches will be able to fit this watch just fine. Larger wrists may want to consider the 42mm version if you want better dial legibility, then that bigger watch is going to be the option for you. On this Jubilee bracelet, the straight end links drop down naturally for a snug, wrist-hugging fit. The watch is made from 316L stainless steel with a screw down case back. Finishing on this watch is outstanding for this price. There is the beautifully brushed bezel with muted light play, polished sides for contrast. Even the pushers are brushed on top but polished on the sides. The branded screw down crown is easy to screw and unscrew into the threads with a sturdy, confident feel. The crystal being used is a single dome sapphire with AR coating. You get clear legibility with just a hint of distortion at the edges, evoking that vintage racing chronograph feel. The watch also boasts 100 meters of water resistance thanks to the screw down crown and case back. VAER calls it their ocean ready, and it is. Swim, pool, beach, no problem. It's not a dive watch, but for summer wear, it's a perfect go anywhere, do anything piece. Now, the movement powering the R1 is the Seiko VK63 Mecaquartz movement, giving the watch a smooth chronograph hand sweep that delivers the mechanical vibe with quartz dependability. You also get peace of mind with an average of about 40 months of battery life. And those not familiar with the movement, the top pusher is going to start the chronograph and it pauses it as well. And the bottom pusher resets the chronograph back to 0. This movement also features triple subdials. At the 6 o'clock subdial, you get your running seconds. This is the seconds hand that corresponds to the set time of the watch. At the 3 o'clock subdial, you get a 24-hour indicator. It's not really useful for me, but it's nice to know if you have your time set for AM or PM. And of course, at the 9 o'clock subdial, that's going to be tracking your chronograph minutes up to 1 hour, after which the central seconds hand will automatically stop to preserve battery life. Now, when it comes to lume, the hands and the indices have 25 layers of W20 superluminova, which VAER rates as a 5 out of 10. Lume strength is good for about an hour of visibility. That's not in dive watch territory, but it's functional enough. With a 20mm lug width on the watch, you get tons of strap options. VAER will offer nylon, FKM rubber, Horween leather straps, and of course my favorite, the Jubilee bracelet. It's solid, comfortable, it has a fully milled clasp as well as a safety folding clasp that is branded. My advice is start with the bracelet and add the straps later. Now, on the bracelet, the watch will come in at a weight of 120 grams. It still feels balanced, but comfortable even with extended wear. Now, specs are one thing, but a GATA or go anywhere, do anything watch has to prove itself in the real world. I put this R1 to the test on a recent trip to the Pacific Northwest. It came with me everywhere, trekking across my uncle's farmland, riding ATVs to the back of his property, a quiet stop at this grotto in Portland, also sightseeing out in Astoria, even out to the Oregon coast. No matter the setting, the R1 stayed comfortable, reliable, and looked the part. It felt right at home whether I was covered in dust from the trail or standing in front of the ocean. And that trip cemented it for me. This watch isn't just inspired by vintage chronographs, it's a true daily companion, a go anywhere, do anything watch. Of course, we have to talk about price. Now, on the bracelet or on a Horween leather strap option, the R1 Racing Chronograph comes in at $615. On a nylon strap, you're looking at $495. Now, yes, the movement and some components aren't US made, but each watch is hand assembled right here in America, and that makes a difference to me. The care, the quality control, and the attention to detail are things you can feel the moment you handle one. I've held a lot of watches over the years, from budget pieces to luxury models, and I can always tell when corners have been cut. And that's not the case here. The brushing, the polishing, the transitions on the case, even the way the pushers are finished, it all speaks to VAER's level of commitment. So when you factor in the materials, the specs, and most importantly, the finishing, the price feels justified. And this isn't just a mass-produced chronograph, it's a watch that delivers value where it matters most to me. I've told you about all the pros of this watch, but what about the cons? There are really only two things worth mentioning. The first is with the movement. The Seiko VK63 supports a date complication, but VAER chose not to include a date window on the dial. I assume that's because they wanted to keep the design clean and symmetrical. Personally, I don't mind it, but it does mean you'll have a ghost date position on the crown. Not a deal breaker, but something to note. The second is with the cream dial version specifically. VAER paired it with a yellow central chronograph seconds hand. The problem is, against the cream dial, it doesn't stand out much. At certain angles, it can be hard to see. Neither of these are deal breakers for me, but I think it's important to point them out so you have the full picture. Now, this watch is more than specs, of course. It's more than finishing. It's more than the lume or the strap options. For me, it's a watch that will be closely tied to my family, to my memories, and to traditions. It will be tied to road trips with my dad, to cruises I take with my nephew, and to the promise of the day when I'll hand both this watch and the keys to the Challenger over to him. The VAER R1 Racing Chronograph is vintage inspired, yes, but it's also modern, American assembled, and surprisingly well finished. On its own, it's a fantastic watch, but paired with a story, my story, it becomes something far more meaningful to me. And when I pass it on to my nephew one day, it won't just be about telling time, it'll be about remembering our times. And I hope that you'll find ways to make your watches special and unique to you. Links to the VAER R1 lineup are down below, of course. I'd love to hear in the comments, do you have a watch tied to your personal story? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you all at the next one. Take care.